Thank you guys so much for taking the time to talk to us. I know you have a lot going on. There's a lot of excitement happening in your lives. I guess, do you guys want to talk about it? Anything that's going on? Anything that has been really exciting thus far? Anything you're looking forward to in the next however long? Okay, why don't I do a different question? What's it been like for you all since this has all hit? What have the changes in your lives been, and what's it been like?
Some of the biggest changes have just been like not having a routine really.
Yeah.
It's like normal. A lot of people can establish a routine like through this, but I have had a lot of trouble with it. And it makes it hard because I was relying on my education as a routine. So that's been kind of tricky, and like deciding what days to do schoolwork on. And it's also been really hard not to see my friends every day. Even though I see them a lot, it's really hard to maintain social connection when you're socially distancing. So
yeah. Anyone else?
A positive change for me is that my siblings are home because they were at school for college and then they had to come home, so I've seen them more, which has been nice. So that's my one positive of it.
Yeah. What about anybody else? Spencer, have you seen any changes? Has there been anything that have been kind of crazy for you since this all happened?
A big thing for me has been motivation, trying to keep motivated while doing school at home, because, at home, this is my lazy time. So this is the place where I don't really want to be motivated, but
yeah, for sure. One of the things I do, and you guys have all been talking about this, I work from home. It can be really hard. You have to generate your own energy for yourself. And so, writing down a routine is hard, and then it's hard, but it's also really helpful. And then I think sometimes creating a separate place where you work and then where you do all your schoolwork and stuff can make a big difference. So, What about you, Rainey?
My whole routine was really messed up because, like, within all of this, my sleep schedule was really affected. Like, I would stay up way later than I usually would, like, when we actually had to get up and go to school. And so my days would end up starting way later because I would wake up super, super late.
Yeah.
So it was hard to, like, not procrastinate when you're waking up, like, late morning, and then you just, like, have no motivation to do any of your schoolwork.
It's a lot to motivate yourselves, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
What were if you could talk about one thing that you were really excited about that you weren't able to do maybe this semester and whatnot? I know, Ciara, you had some pretty exciting plans. So.
Yeah. I was being in Asia for this semester. I was on a trip with 12 other kids, and we were just doing it like volunteering, cultural immersion, and then like tourism aspects of it. And our trip originally got cut short a month with my group, and then I was going to stay and teach English in some country for another month, and that also got canceled. So I was supposed to come home May 12th, but instead I came home March 17th.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So that's a lot. Where in Asia were you going to go?
I was in Laos, Thailand, and Vietnam, and we were supposed to go to Cambodia, but we weren't able to because like their borders closed, so that's why we actually had to cancel the trip.
Yeah.
But and then I would have just gone back to another one of those countries to volunteer.
Great. Are you going to go back when this is all lifted?
Yeah, I really want to.
Good. What about you guys? What are things that you've missed out on that you were really looking forward to?
I look forward to just like finishing out the senior year. It's like there's a lot of kids at school that I would interact with, like not necessarily out of school, and so having those relationships was kind of nice because they're just like more people to interact with that I might not necessarily like go out and hang out with after like the school day ended, but it was nice to see them when I was in school.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Kate? You were going to say something.
I'm really into theater and stuff and music, and I was doing a class. One of my independent studies was for a lot of my classes, I was helping our music teacher. So I'd go over to the middle school and teach the middle schoolers with her, and then also the younger kids in our high school. And I really enjoyed that, and I was really sad I didn't get a chance to see like their final concerts or be a part of that, because it was like really nice to see progress throughout the year. And then we also have a school musical, and me and another girl got the leads in it, and I was really looking forward to doing one last show in our theater, which is actually where I am right now. But it was really sad I didn't get to do that, and also just doing normal things that you'd expect to do senior year, like an all-night party or like a normal graduation. And yeah.
What about you, Spencer? Anything you were looking forward to?
Just the big thing is relationships outside of my house. I already live out in the middle of nowhere, so it's already hard enough for me to have contact with friends and have that kind of relationship on a common basis. And now it's just, I've been in my house for like 3 months.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot. One of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast, and I think that Park County Health wanted to do the podcast, was to hear from you guys and to kind of learn a little bit about some of the things that we don't always hear from kids, right? We hear a lot from a lot of politicians. We hear a lot from a lot of business leaders and, old people like me. What do you wish that people knew my age or older, much older, knew about what's like for you guys?
Well, it was interesting because while I was in Asia, like the whole coronavirus was definitely a thing, and it's actually and it started really close to where we were in all those places, but the way they handled it was a lot different. Like their life was just continuing as normal because everyone basically wears masks anyway for like pollution reasons, or just and they have a lot more they clean the streets every night, and so like the sanitation is really different. So no stores were closed, everyone was still out and about, and like when we left Vietnam, there was only 240 cases in the whole country. And so coming back here was a really rough adjustment, because I was like, well, when I was there where we were super close to it, like everything was normal, and now I'm here and it's like, oh, you can't leave your house to go see your friends.
Yeah.
And so it's just like interesting viewing the different perspectives, and how I think like a lot of the older people, like if you try and say your perspective, they'll kind of be like, but like it's a really dangerous disease, which it is, but it was just like hard for me to adjust because all the old people are still like out and about doing everything that everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
So
does it ever feel hard to get your voice heard by people?
Yeah, it was really hard because actually when I came home, I quarantined in Colorado with one of my friends from my trip. And I remember us talking to her parents, and we're like, but like in a third world country or a developing country where they deal with a bunch of hardships every day, like we would go into these villages and their water is a collection from the last year's rain, and like they just really have they live really minimalistic lives. And we're like, and here in the US where it's like you come back and everything's so expensive and like people are just worried about like materialistic things, it was like, well, people are just getting more and more worried because they're like, yoga classes are getting canceled or blah 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 blah, when it's like in those countries they're like having to really like fight a lot harder to maintain the lives they do. And so it's like frustrating coming back here and everyone like having these really harsh opinions, and you trying to be like, but like in the rest of the world, like people don't live as like grand as we do, and they're still like functioning, and here we are like just kind of like breaking down.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really received very well.
I mean, it's good that you're voicing your opinions, though. I mean, even if it's hard to get it across, sometimes it's always good to talk about it. I mean, I grew up in different countries, and so I've seen a lot of that. We certainly have a lot of privilege here. So, what about the rest of you guys? What have you all kind of, wanted to get across to older people?
One thing I've seen is, I don't know if you know what This Is Really Livingston is on Facebook, but it's like the supposedly like the message board for Livingston, and it gets a lot of garbage thrown at it. Like, people aren't very nice to each other on there because it's the internet and they think they can yell at each other in the small town, but then they see each other again. But one thing I saw on there is I saw a few posts where older people who may not have kids, I'm not sure, were kind of dissing high schoolers and saying that we're the reason that everyone is dying because we're going out and doing stuff. And like, I understand that socially distancing is super important, but a lot of the examples were like, I saw a group of like 3 kids biking today, and that was like earlier in everything that was going on. And I think it's hard for them to understand that even though we are more into technology than they are, we don't want to just talk to people on technology. It's really not fun, and it really can give you a lot of anxiety. And like, I know that word's thrown around a lot, but just communicating with people on technology and having that is not sustainable for anybody, but especially not someone like a teenager to be able to go and do stuff. So I wish that they understood that even though we are more into technology, that it's not the only way we want to talk to people, and that we want real things and like real genuine experiences. And it's been really, really, really hard to go through this for everybody. And also, like, we've been trying to put everything in perspective by not like complaining about our graduation or prom or anything, because people are suffering. But also there's still very valid feelings in our own lives. So
I think that's a great point. I think maybe, us possibly working with you guys a little bit more to find solutions rather than saying, oh, you'll just deal with it kind of thing. It's not always like the fair thing. So what about you guys, Spencer, Rainey, anything?
Yeah, I kind of agree with what Kate's saying. I think that it was really hard to kind of be grouped into like this collection of people where it was like the younger people are the reason it's spreading so bad. And like, it's really hard because like, I mean, at least like for the beginning when like we first got out of school, like everyone was staying in their houses. Like, it was really hard for me to stay quarantined in my house with my family. It's just like, and I felt like, I don't know, it was hard to just be grouped into these people where like I wasn't leaving my house for a while. Like, I was staying in my house. I wasn't seeing anyone. And I like already had the stress of like online school, which was just really hard to adjust to. And so I think a lot of people just didn't realize that like the younger people already had so much on their plates because like we're adjusting to a completely new lifestyle. So.
Can I say one thing on this question as well? I think the whole social distancing, I wish that some people would understand that it doesn't mean like you can't smile at people.
Yes.
Because like, I think it's really hard adjustment when you go to the grocery store and like people like edge away from you, which I understand why, but it's not like you can't give a smile. Or I remember when I was in Colorado, we were watching sunset with like 4 people outside and we were in separate cars. And when we were driving down, this woman like cussed us out. And it's just like, just because there's a like global pandemic doesn't mean you can't be kind to each other. And I think it's like the older people looking down on us younger people, because like, again, like what Kate and Rainey are saying is like they think we're more responsible because we're the ones who are outside and active, but we're also outside and like socially distancing. So it's like hard to like feel unwelcome anywhere you go when you're just trying to like do your routine.
Well, okay, so I think we've got some people. Let me get them in real quick. Okay, we've got one person joining. So let's see. Oh, you guys know John Mayer.
Hi.
Hi.
So I thought we'd bring John in to talk to you guys. It's been difficult on you guys, and we know that graduation is a really important part of your lives. So we wanted to see if you guys wanted to chat with him a little bit about what it's like to be a teenager and everything that's going on, and hear some of his stories.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
No matter what the circumstances are right now, congratulations are in order. You've successfully graduated high school.